Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. It is time for a party. Today's party is called Checks and Balances. I'm going to play some music while we wait for some familiar faces to show up in the room. Got one in YouTube land. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. Thank you for visiting the party. The song was called Yahweh You Reign, brought to you by Cold Before Diamonds Productions. And let's see here. Let's play another song. This next one is called Psalms 1. All right, and that was another one brought to you by Cole Before Diamond Productions. And that one was called Psalms 1. Both of those songs can be found on an album called For Yahweh. It's FORYHVH. For Yahweh. And in case you're wondering, walking around the grocery store right now. Checks and balances. We got 7 in YouTube land. Greetings to all of you who have joined in. Hashem Yahweh Elohim, Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon everyone who catches this message. Title of today's broadcast is Checks and Balances. Who remembers learning about budgeting in elementary school, junior high, or even high school? Who remembers learning about budgeting? In case you didn't know, it's a trick question. They didn't teach us about budgeting in school. Cam.23.8. Hi to you too. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you. Thank you for joining the party, and I appreciate you speaking. That's awesome. As I said, it was a trick question. You did not learn anything about budgeting in elementary, junior high, or high school. On your way out of the door, when they handed you the diploma, they said, oh, by the way, you're going to have to learn how to balance a checkbook. And to do so, you should ask your parents how they balance their checkbook. Tell you what you did learn. The governmental system is supposed to be on a checks and balance system, standard operation. And how does it work? There's the judicial system, there's the legislative system, and then there's the executive branch. Where do you fit in all of that? Well, you get to vote. Because if you're not the president, if you're not part of Supreme Court, if you're not a representative, if you're not somebody in Congress, you don't get to check any of the balances. They tell you you get to vote. So there's a small number of people who assume responsibility over a vast majority of people. And the vast majority only get to show up and say, I'm here, and I choose this side or that side. That means there's nobody checking or balancing the people who are in power. That's the reason why you don't know how to balance a checkbook. You don't know how to balance your own empowerment in life. What does it take to balance a checkbook? You look at your resources, see what you have, and then don't overspend your resources. That's how you balance a checkbook. They don't teach you that. They teach you to become a consumer. My mentality is completely different than a consumer or a private civilian. to the point where I bump heads with people when I'm out in public because they're forever trying to tell me what to do. You can't tell a sovereign what to do or how to do something. It's a big mistake that people make. Don't mind me, I'm on one of my favorite food aisles right now, and I found a new flavor. Shalom, Khaled. It's so very tabar to see you. Been having some issues, Khaled. I haven't had a actual steady signal of my own for a couple of weeks now. That's part of what today's party is about. Noah plays basketball. To you and to Khaled. Hashem Yahweh Elohim Shalom Barak. Allahu Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa Barakatuh. Father's peace, blessings, and mercy be upon you, your families, and your circles. Thank you for being here. I'll show you something real quick, and then I'll get back to what I was talking about. This is my new favorite flavor. I found honey Dijon mustard. Well, no, it's just whole grain Dijon. No honey in it, but still. Dijon mustard in a tuna pack. It's on. It is on. And since it's 10 for 10, I'm taking a box with me, right? I was just in here a couple of days ago. Did the same thing. The lady looked at me and she's like, "You want the box?" I'm like, "Yeah." Buy it by the case, you know? So let's get back to what I was talking about. There's a reason why I haven't had my own personal signal. I haven't had my own personal signal for my device in over 3 years. And there's a reason behind that. People have been holding on to a phrase and they need to let it go because it's become detrimental to us. I cringe every time I hear somebody say, be in the system, but not of it. Because we've been in the system and not of it for about 4,000 years. It makes me cringe every time I hear somebody say it. When do you plan on getting out of the system? I've been out of the system for about 3 or 4 years. I weaned myself off of the system. That's why I don't have my own personal phone signal. I use Wi-Fi. Usually wherever I live, Wi-Fi is available. Staying with a brother of mine, a very close brother of mine. Known each other for over 30 years. We grew up together, basically. When I was 19, he was 17. We walked into adulthood together. And at the same time, we were lost boys. Matter of fact, my name was Peter Pan back then. Still is. I've been Peter Pan for about 30 years. People look at me and I'm moving around and they wonder because they can see the silver and they're trying to figure out, well, how old is he? And then I tell them, 49. I'm jumping around, acting all spry, and there's people looking at me wishing they could do what I do. Thankful and grateful for my health, my wellness, my mentality. Thankful and grateful every day. Had an incident that happened Friday. Was supposed to go live, and I made an announcement. No, I wasn't going to go live because I needed to conserve my energy. I made that decision in the middle of the day because I hadn't slept the day before. I barely had 1 hour and a half of sleep. I hadn't eaten. Didn't eat Thursday night. Couldn't. Tried. Didn't eat all day Thursday. Woke up the next day and was told I was needed to help with a moving job. There was a box truck and a bunch of large furniture. and my assistance was needed to pack that large furniture onto the truck. Hickory smoked tuna, that's another one I like. But we need some chicken. Chicken. Got 6 packs of tuna. I need 4 packs of chicken. I'll marinate on that. Okay, so posted the message saying that I needed to conserve my energy because I did not want to fall out in the middle of exertion. Did the move job at 5 o'clock. It was done by 7. Young lady paid both me and my brother Ben very well. She sent it on Cash App. Now, as I said earlier, I don't have a signal. So that meant I had to go and find a strong Wi-Fi signal in order for me to uh, accept the order.
Trent, call 2051, please. Trent, 2051.
And then on top of that, also had to transfer the money that was on Cash App over to my PayPal balance where I could use my debit card. Otherwise, all I could do was order something online because I don't have a physical Cash App debit card. There's one available. However, whenever I try to get them to send it to me, it never shows up. So, got PayPal. Around 8:30, our friend showed up. There's 3 of us in the scooter crew, me, Ben, and our friend. Decided we were going to ride around town. Nowhere in particular, just riding around. As we were going to different locations, I would stop and check to see if I could pick up Wi-Fi in order to handle my business. We started to ride around 8:30. It was 10:30 when we finally pulled up on a Dollar General that actually had a signal that I could use. So I transferred some funds over to my PayPal debit card. And then the next step was now we have to find some place where I can go and buy some food. That was another 2 hours later. It's around 12:30. Pulled up to a gas station that was open. Went inside because I needed to use the bathroom. And in the back of my mind was, oh yeah, get some food. Couldn't find the bathroom. So I started grabbing snacks. Got a drink. And some of you might say this was the mistake. However, it wasn't. My drink was a Monster drink, a coffee drink. I chose that because I didn't want anything with bubbles in it. And pretty much everything else was carbonated. I needed something with vitamins in it that I could drink quickly that was beyond water. I didn't want Gatorade. I didn't need salt water. I needed something with real vitamins in it. I also grabbed a bag of hickory smoked twisted corn chips. That's one of my favorites. And I got a pack of crackers with peanut butter. On my way up to the register, I did notice where the bathroom was, so I put everything down and went to the bathroom. Came out, grabbed my items, went, purchased them, stepped back outside where Ben and our friend Ducky was waiting at the table where we sit. This is the spot that we go to whenever we're riding around anyway. I immediately basically inhaled the Monster coffee drink. That was my intent and purpose. Sat down, ate about 3/4 of the bag of corn chips. Look out, y'all. I've seen it all now. That's kind of scary. Starkiss makes beef packages. That was taco style. They also have sloppy Joe. I'm looking at the chicken. They've got chicken salad and they've got buffalo style. I'm not a fan of mayonnaise. Oh, and these are not on special either. Oh, they get to stay here at the store then because they are not on special. All right, I got a bunch of tuna. Let's see if I can find some salmon. Meanwhile, within the time it took to drink that monster drink, eat those chips, I started feeling funny. Stood up and walked across the parking lot, went and threw away the Monster energy drink can. And I'd also been sipping on a Coca Cola for the last 3 hours. Finished that off, right? So I went to throw those two things away. And as I was walking back to the table, I started feeling a head rush and I could feel myself blacking out. So I told Ducky and Ben, hey, I had a real big head rush just now and I'm not feeling so well. So I sat down and put my head down on the table. I could feel myself blacking out. Ben asked me how I was doing and it irritated me. So as I looked up at him, my eyes were rolling up too. You know, you roll your eyes when you're irritated. He thought I was having a seizure. I wasn't having a seizure. I was blacking out because I was famished. I was hungry. I held my head down for about maybe 5 minutes. He kept asking me if I was okay, and I would hold my finger up. He'd say, I need a response from you. But that's not the time for me to look up at somebody and say E equals MC squared because my body was resetting itself. I was still feeling overheated while I was sitting slumped over. So got up, tried to walk over to the building so I could lean against the wall and sit. And that's when I noticed I was moving 4 times slower than I normally move. It took a while for me to get from the table, take 4 steps, turn around, squat, sit down, and lean back against the wall. I did all those things with my eyes barely open, with Ben sitting there trying to tell me, you need to lean against the wall. And I'm telling him, well, that's what I'm doing. You can tell when someone really cares about you and loves you because they're going to do everything in their power to tell you how to do right. And he was panicking. It's a good thing I wasn't. He was scared and thought he was going to have to call 911 because, like I said, he thought I was having a seizure. I knew that my body was famished. I had told him earlier that day because he started saying, well, we're going to go move. And then after we move, then we're going to catch up with Ducky and we're going to go for a ride. And after we catch up with him, then we're going to catch up with another one of our friends and blah, 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 blah. And I looked at him, I said, that's doing a whole lot. Told him that at 10 a.m. I think I put the announcement out to everybody that I was not going to be on live maybe 20, 30 minutes after that. Ben had heated up a chicken and rice casserole. He ate 3/4 of it and left part for me. I had food in front of me while he was cooking that. I had a pack of ramen that had been heated up, some mixed vegetables, and I was sitting there attempting to eat it when he said that he was cooking the casserole. Took 2 bites out of the noodles, 1 carrot slice. I couldn't eat anything. My stomach would not allow for me to swallow anything to ingest. I looked at the casserole. I cut a corner section. I ate that, forced myself to eat that. That's part of what saved me for that day. So let's get back to the scene. After I had done regulated breathing techniques and all of that while slumped over at the table, I went to the next level because then I knew my body wasn't functioning correctly. Ben told our friend Ducky to go get his vehicle, come back, pick me up because I was not going to be riding that scooter back to the house. While things were still dark and I was sitting, leaning back against the wall, I started reciting Al-Fatiha. I was praying. I've been praying all day. And at that moment, that's all I could focus on. Bismillahi ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmani ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Sirata allatheena an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim walad dallin. Ameen. In the name of our Father, the most merciful and most compassionate, Lord over all worlds, creator of our deen, our divine path, most merciful, most compassionate. I ask you to forgive me for any time I have disobeyed the way others have before. I ask you to teach me how to forgive others when they have crossed me. Teach me to forgive them the way that you forgive me. I thank you for giving us the divine path. Ameen. Right when I was saying Ameen, the clerk from the store came outside and said, you can't be leaning up against the wall sitting on the ground, but you can get back and go and sit on it at the table. Right when I was saying Ameen, opened my eyes up, stood up, walked back over to the table and sat down. It was another 15 minutes before Ducky got back because he had to ride all the way back to the house. It's about a 10-minute ride on the scooter. And well, his scooter moves slower than mine and Akben's. He can only do 12 miles per hour. Our scooters move a lot quicker. It took him about 5 minutes to get back in his vehicle. Every 30 seconds, Ben was asking me if I was all right. In between gritting his teeth, I could hear it. Couldn't tell you what was going on in his mind, but I know that there was 1,000 thoughts going out per second. I could hear the buzz outside of his head. He swore up and down I was having a seizure. Here to tell you something. The only time I've had seizures was when someone put me on medication. Now, I've had times when I've had fainting spells from not eating. I was in full control, except for the fact that, yeah, my body was shutting down. My mentals knew what was going on. There were no muscle spasms involved. It was not a seizure. It wasn't that I wasn't eating because I didn't have any food. I wasn't eating because I won't call myself anorexic, but I'm something similar. I know I need to eat. I want to gain 20 pounds. That involves eating more and working out. I started fasting all throughout the day back when I was 12 years old. Nobody told me what fasting was. It was something that my body chose to do. And it stuck. That was 37 years ago. I astonish people all the time because of the things that I actually do. Larger people than me can't move things the way that I do. I'm not bragging, I'm telling you about a gift that was given to me because I asked for it. But along with that gift goes certain life practices. I removed myself from the system when I made that decision at 12 years old. My body doesn't want to eat, so I'm not going to force it to eat. I removed myself from the system because I gave up on 3 squares a day. I didn't need 3 squares a day. Found out if I ate dinner at sundown and then something close to the middle of the night, I would be fine. Found out that I couldn't follow the nutrition table because I'm allergic to milk and eggs. There would be no eating a bowl of cereal for breakfast for me because that would ruin my stomach for the rest of the day. Found out that the other white meat is poison to me. Went outside, played basketball after eating some bacon and sausage and almost passed out. Same way I almost passed out from not eating. That told me I didn't need to mess with that. Too much grease and too much salt. I left the system. I had to tell Ak Ben that next day, that following day, look, man, this is something I used to do every other day. Oh, run around and ride on scooters? No. I had been telling the people that we were working with that day that I've been moving for about 10 years, moving people. That was light work. I was used to doing 5 to 6 hours a day. We barely toiled for 2 hours that day. Been in this particular state I'm in right now for about 7 months, visiting with my brother. Before here, I was in Georgia, 2 years. So that's 2 years and 7 months. Prior to that, I was back in my home state where I was working for cash, moving furniture. Not on a daily basis, but every other day. At the time, I was paying a phone bill just to make sure that I had a means of communication. I was working for a man who was paying me $10 an hour. Now, depending on what I was doing, he would pay me more. Not for the grunt work, for paperwork. Pausing because I'm checking out the sale here. $3.99 for an 8-pack of tortillas, and you get one free. Compared to $4.99. They're talking keto and everything else. We don't need all that. Hold on. $2.29. Burrito size. What's the difference between burrito size and tortilla? No difference whatsoever. All right. So I like that $2.29. So this sale that they're talking about for the 8 count for $3.99, buy one get one free, is basically the same thing as me buying these others for $2.29. It's the same. Saving about 20 cents, right? 40 cents. Okay. I don't need. Yeah, I don't need that much. It's going to take me a week just to go through 8. So we're going to do $2.29. Kroger brand instead of Mission. It'd be cool if I was buying in bulk, but I'm not. I don't matter. So where was I? I was weaning myself from the system before I left my home state. As a matter of fact, at that time, our Kohelet was spreading the message that all of us should be considering finding ways to break away from the system. Back then, I had made a declaration. Hey, I've got songs registered, and I'm preparing to start doing some short films and all of that kind of thing. In the name of Yahweh Elohim, I'm making steps and preparing to live completely within Yahweh's kingdom. Ran across the lady and she asked me, well, what do you do about taxes? I said, I don't pay taxes. For what? Usually when I do turn in any information, really they owe me. I don't worry about taxes. The only taxes I pay is when I have to go and buy groceries, and I'm trying to actually learn how to grow my own food. So that's one less tax to worry about. I think I'm gonna treat myself to a green tea, and then we're walking up out of here. Made a decision a long time ago that I did not want to be a part of the system. Made that decision when I was reading in Revelations, and it was talking about there will come a time when if you don't work within the system of Babylon, you won't be getting paid. You won't have a way of prospering when you don't work with the system of Babylon. It got me to thinking, because for so many of us, the system of Babylon doesn't work anyway. So why not go and find a different way? I was going to do the green tea, but I think I'm going to get a half and half lemonade iced tea. What do you think? Is there anything else that I need from here? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Going to turn on the song while I do self-checkout, and then we're going to pick back up. I'm going to step outside. With the one who's been hanging out, that you know plays basketball, if that's you, Colette, or wherever you happen to be, thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate it.
World Wide Web. World Wide Web. Well, I'm standing on the corner of Destiny and Journey, learning legalese, so I won't need attorneys. Things are getting way too shy, it's down in dirty south. No innovations coming out of players' mouths. Time to head for the border, take my crew on an Iliad. Reach out and touch the world, exposing 10% affiliates. But now I'm sure you guess, we live in continental US. And we won't stop until we blow up the spot in Bangladesh. It's a mystery how such a small crowd controls the currency, while the rest of us are rats running on wheels in laboratories. False freedom society is only a maze for chasing cheese. The world spins 360 degrees, and so can you. Pick up the game from Parker Brothers and go get a clue. Wait a minute, let's take it back stateside. Pangea is the web of our thoughts worldwide. Wait a minute, let's take it back stateside. Pangea is the web of our thoughts worldwide. Worldwide, 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 worldwide. Trapped in Groundhog's Day, why repeat yourself? Playing virtual reality, pretending you an elf. If it wasn't for my Ishtihad, I'd be a thief or assassin. Quiet panther, stalking while you're raising rockers blasting. Seems the only sound investment these days is black jackets and caskets. I got a subterranean locomotive headed straight for Canada. Need some Medicaid, socialism's the only answer. Mosey on down to the shores of the Caribbean. Start speaking in tongues, make them think I'm Bolivian. Organized Aztec protest at the doors of MOPEC. Cause there's some villains making trillions, taking till nothing is left. Move on to the jungles, strap myself to some trees, save the rainforest so our planet can breathe. Or would you rather die because it killed the cure to your simple disease? Steady propagating social crime called greed. Corporations stealing land from aborigines with no treaties. Wait a minute, let's take it back stateside. Vegeta is the web of our thoughts worldwide. What about the Monroe Doctrine? Rip it up, burn it, and cast it to the four winds. Enemies trade secrets for lies told on friends. So let's take it across the ocean to the land of my hide. The core of my body shakes like ropes in a royal rumble. Native tribes committing genocide to the ATLian beat of humble mumble. Apartheid hasn't died, it's just no longer covered. The smell of death is in the air, sky overcast. The baby boom of the buzzard. Why is it the empires must colonize everything they discovered? Put a brick wall between you and the land called mother. Hypothetically, you can't discover what's already there. So who are you to tell me how to walk, talk, and wear my hair? And what's up with this free zone? No flying over holy land, fighting over oil and sand. From the streets of Turkey and Israel to the dunes of Iran and Afghanistan. All of your holy books told you how to survive in this place. The last time I checked, we were all humans in the same race, supposedly cognitive. So tell me what the hell are you doing? Civilization and things falling apart, we're marching off to ruin. Let's take it back stateside. Vegeta is the web of all thoughts worldwide. Worldwide. The past has been preserved for us to learn from mistakes, like re-engineering buildings on the sites of earthquakes. Strong to life preservers on to your feet, to the beach in search for some eats. It takes a while to find something in the prairie end. Go to Mesopotamia and find the Bavarians. Maybe go to Europe, get hash and walk through tulips. Take a tour through the Caucasus Mountains and flow some knowledge on your ass from the peaks of Shiraz, but we're not through. The Filipinos, Indians, and Chinese have been patiently waiting like the Haitians, staging demonstrations, meeting you free, and you be you. Leave me alone to do what I must do. I believe in the eightfold path that must be right. Because you find it inserted in every world religion in sight. Not only that, but let's take it to the Swiss Alps. The population is in order with no split the scalps. So what's up, Mr. President? I don't mean to rush ya, but can you tell me what you plan to do about Poland and Russia? Hey, wait a minute. Let's take it back stateside. Again, it's the web of all thoughts worldwide. Worldwide,
All right. I've been in you all's ear for a good 50 minutes now. That song is called Destiny and Journey, brought to you by me. If you ever want to look up any of my music, look up 3PROJH. 3PROJH. It's 3P Roj. You can do hashtag 3PROJH. Do hashtag Highest Heights Studio. Or you could do hashtag Mafia Soy Publications. or even hashtag DJ Microwave 5000 watts, hashtag DJ Microwave 5KW. Those are all ways to find my work. What were you doing 3 years ago? In 2022, what were you doing? What were you doing 5 years ago when we were told hashtag stay home? What were you doing when they told the globe that the only people that could go back to work during the pandemic would be those who were necessary and needed workers, basically those who worked for government institutions? What were you doing then? What were you doing when they were handing out stipends saying start your own business? I applied for one of those stipends and they told me I couldn't get it because I was already claiming being an entrepreneur. I haven't taken out any loans to start my venture. I started listening to Khaled Kofi about 3 or 4 years ago, and he was saying something that's very important that most people don't get. You are an ATM. It doesn't mean that you can spit green pieces of paper with old people printed on them. You're an ATM because you can produce a product on demand. Most of you have been sluggish and refuse to produce your own personal products. Most of you have been lulled into becoming intrapreneurs. Most of you do not want to be an entrepreneur because it means self accountability. Most of you have lost that concept. It's easy to sit back and point fingers when you don't have to be responsible for any of the output or the product. It's easy to sit back and judge then when you're not part of the process. You see, when you say that you want to be the tree planted by the living waters, that means you have to also give living product, living fruit. Because those who do not produce when the Messiah comes through and asks for fruit, not only get pruned, they wither and die. See, a Muslim's supposed to pray 5 times a day. Sometimes I do more, sometimes I do less. I don't know. Because every time I say Alhamdulillah, that's praising Allah. That's praying. Why do I praise Allah? For all things. It was a miracle that I was able to walk through that store just now. Spend $29, or actually 27. Saved $5 because the first total was 32. Ten packs of tuna, some wipes, some chicken tenders to eat for later, a half and half lemonade iced tea, bananas, tortillas. Check your resources. Balance it out so that you're not in debt. That's checks and balances. Casting a vote for a public political leader does not protect your household, does not ensure that you're going to have resources. Because even though you elected somebody into office and they have a salary, you still have to go out and find employment. When's the last time somebody voted you into a place of employment? Selah. They say that the spirit is willing, yet the flesh is weak. I know how strong my flesh is. Because like I said at the beginning of this live, I went 48 hours, 1.5 hours sleep, and barely 2 bites of some chicken, rice, and cheese. Still managed to package up, box up a truck full of furniture, get it moved across town, store it up, then rode around doing recreational things while also looking for a way to get into my resources. Because I've been living this way for over 37 years, going and doing incredible feats of strength where most people are still trying to figure out where they're going to eat their next meal because they are convinced they need 3 of them. I move different. I think different because I am different. I'm not of this system. No way, no shape, no how. I have a company. It's called Highest Heights Studio. I'm part of a second company called Mafia Soy Publications. I had somebody tell me to get a job. I'm not supposed to be toiling. I can tell you more about how you're supposed to be living within Yahweh's kingdom, and then turn around and show you all manner and forms of manual labor, all manner and forms of skilled labor, all manner and forms of managerial skills, talents, things that I've acquired through life. I walked away from all of that because I have something more important to deliver. There's a message that needs to be delivered, and I've been doing that specifically for the last 4 years. I cringe when people say be in the system but not of it. We need to be going to that place that is outside of the system. Keep talking about how it's difficult because you're a prisoner of war. First part of prison is trapping the mind. People can't tell me where to go or how to do because I'm a sovereign. That means the only other being that can say that they own my mind is our Creator. I serve our Creator. So no one else can tell me what to do. I'm not going to vote somebody into office to tell me what to do. When I'm hired out, it's because I hired myself out to go and do an exchange of a service. I'm going to give a special shout out. I'm not going to name any names. There are a lot of people who have been helping me in the last 3 or 4 years. I do appreciate each and every one of you. That's why I say Alhamdulillah. All praises to our Father. Because I don't expect blessings to fall out of the sky. I know that blessings come through other vessels, other servants of our Father. So I thank you for living properly within Yahweh's standards. For those of you who haven't caught on yet, this is the mission, and this is every day. If you see somebody out there that needs help, go and help them. Don't wait for them to ask you. And don't expect a thank you out of it either. It's not what you're doing this for. You're doing this because you're a servant of our Father. That's complete compassion. Amitabha Amitofo. That's how you would say compassion in Japanese and Chinese. Go out and be the reason someone else has a smile on their face. Hashtag kindness is contagious. Go do something for somebody else. And if you are in need, don't be shy. Reach out to those who actually have ears who are listening. Reach out to them. Reach out to those who have hands that are willing to work. Reach out to those who want to be the mouthpiece, who are willing to deliver the message. We have someone in the kingdom who needs help. Let's help them. That goes beyond, I need to pay rent or my bills are due, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that is because people are not budgeting correctly. They're not checking and balancing. I learned about balancing a checkbook when I was 10 because I had to contribute to what was being put into the checking accounts. Many much love to all of you. Normally we will be on 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday through Friday. I've been going through a few difficulties, so that got shut down. We're not done though. Not by far. I'm looking at a couple of options, and more than likely, I might be able to actually have my own standard signal again within a week or two. It means paying a phone bill, something I haven't done in a long time. It's not something I'm crying about. The issue is, I signed up to make sure that I could do a broadcast that's live. And this is not about just being on YouTube or TikTok or any of that kind of mess. There's an actual site that I'm operating from right now called Discord. And Discord is only a beginning. Discord is a place where we can go and communicate through audio or text. And there are some other sites that we can use as well. What I'm here telling you right now, though, is we need activity, not empty promises, not just hot air and words. We need activity. I had somebody laugh and try and tell me to get a job because they didn't understand the value of promoting. They didn't understand the value of actually owning your own audio, images, video, intellectual property. So they wanted to laugh. It's the same people that laugh and ridicule because they have a lack of intimacy with Yahweh's standards. So they laugh and ridicule that too. There are certain things in life I take real serious. And when I find people who are laughing, I check them. And if they proceed to keep on laughing and ignoring what I've said to them, may Yahweh have mercy upon them, because if I see them in the next lifetime, it won't be a pleasant one for them. I know where I'm going, and I know what my next duty is. People argue about overstanding and understanding and playing with words like that. I got one for you. When you learn the standards of Yahweh Elohim, you also learn to be above standards. It's not saying you're above the standards of Yahweh Elohim. It's saying that you are striving for protection and perfection, because there is no greater protector. If you go against the will of Yahweh Elohim, what's left to save you? Everything that you're subscribing to, that you're having to pay out for membership and all of that, you need to ask yourself why. Why are you paying for those subscriptions? Why are you part of those memberships? For your every hour of the day, granted 24 hours in a day, what are you doing for 2 hours at least? That's showing that you are showing praise to Yahweh Elohim. Out of 24 hours out of the day, 20 of those hours, you're going to see me at work. I don't have somebody that I show up and clock in, and then they hand me a check on Friday. When I open my eyes is when my workday starts. When I close my eyes is when my workday ends. I was saved Friday because I spent the whole day praying. My flesh was willing to go and do the task. My spirit was strong enough to make sure that I survived it. And Yahweh Elohim preserved me through the whole experience. When I tell you all that I need you all to come to my Discord link, you don't have any excuses. None. When I tell you all that you all need to start giving some output and showing your actual work and effort, you don't have any excuses. None. I don't want to hear any excuses. If you have breath in your body enough for you to say, I couldn't do it, then you got breath in your body to say, hey, I did it. It's accomplished. We need to change our whole mental outlook. Y'all are getting comfort while sitting in prison, demanding pillows. Stop it. Very much love and respect to all of you. Until next time.